You know that feeling, right? If you're a scientist or really just anyone trying to follow research, it feels absolutely impossible to keep up. For years, we've all been hoping for an AI that could just read everything for us and give us the perfect summary. But there's been this one fatal flaw holding the whole idea back. Well, until now.
And that's really the big question here. Scientific knowledge is expanding at this incredible rate, so an AI that could actually synthesize all of that accurately, it would be a total game changer for discovery. But here's the problem. Today's most advanced AIs, well, they have a major trust problem.
And that problem boils down to this one single shocking number, 90%. Yeah, you heard that right. That's how often some of the most powerful AIs out there, we're talking about models like GPT-4o, just hallucinate or, completely invent their sources when you ask for a citation. For science, where verifiable sources are literally everything, a 90% failure rate isn't just bad. It's a complete deal breaker.
And look, this isn't a new problem, but it's getting worse, and it's getting worse fast. Researchers are basically drowning in a sea of new discoveries. Just keeping up with your own specific field is a full-time job, let alone trying to stay on top of adjacent fields where the next big breakthrough might be hiding. This information overload is a real, serious bottleneck for scientific progress.
So you see the promise, right? An AI assistant that could navigate this flood of information would be huge. But that whole beautiful promise is completely torpedoed by the hallucination problem. Because in science, a fact just isn't a fact without a source to back it up. This massive lack of trust in AI citations has made these incredibly powerful tools almost useless for any kind of serious research.
But what if you could build an AI from the ground up designed specifically to solve this problem? What if you could create a tool for science, built on the principles of science? Well, that's exactly what a team of researchers set out to do. So let's meet OpenScholar.
Now, OpenScholar is not just another general-purpose chatbot. No, this is a specialized system designed to do one thing and do it really, really well. Answer scientific questions with trustworthy answers. It's completely open source. It pulls its information from a massive database of 45 million real papers, and its entire architecture is built for one thing: accurate, verifiable citations.
So how does it actually work? Well, OpenScholar uses this clever multi-stage pipeline, where every single step is designed to make sure the final answer is accurate and relevant. It really comes down to three simple but really powerful ideas.
The best way to think about it is like having the absolute perfect research assistant. First, it has a massive library. We're talking 45 million papers. Then it has an expert librarian, a super smart system that knows exactly how to find the most relevant passages for your question. But this next part, the writer, this is the crucial bit. It doesn't just spit out text, it drafts an answer. Then it critiques its own work against the sources, and it refines it again and again until the answer is both accurate and comprehensive.
Okay, so you've built this new system. That's great. But how do you actually prove it's better? Well, the creators of OpenScholar quickly realized that the existing tests just weren't tough enough. So they decided to build their own, a new, incredibly demanding benchmark.
It's called Scholar QA Bench, and you can forget about simple multiple-choice quizzes. We are talking about thousands of complex, nuanced questions, all written by PhD experts. These questions demand that the AI synthesizes information from multiple different papers just to even begin to form an answer. This is the real deal, real-world gauntlet for an AI scientific reasoning.
So we have our new contender, OpenScholar, and we have the new gauntlet, Scholar QA Bench. The stage is set. How would this specialized, open-source model do against the biggest names in AI, and, for that matter, against human experts? Well, the results were pretty surprising. All right, first up, answer correctness. On this really tough test, GPT-4o gets it right about 45% of the time. Not bad, but look at this. OpenScholar, even with a smaller 8 billion parameter model, which is kind of a measure of its complexity, it scores 51%. And when you combine the OpenScholar system with GPT-4o as the writer part, the score jumps all the way to 58%.
But this next part is where the story gets absolutely wild. Remember that hallucination problem? On citation accuracy, GPT-4o scores a nearly non-existent 0.1%. I mean, that's basically zero. It's just guessing. OpenScholar, on the other hand, hits nearly 48% accuracy. That's approaching the level of a human expert. This isn't just a small improvement. This is a different league entirely.
Let's put this even more starkly. Let's just look at completely fabricated, made-up citations.
The big models, GPT-4o and Llama 3.1, are inventing sources almost 80% of the time. And OpenScholar, 0. That's not a typo. It's not a rounding error. It's 0%. The problem of an AI just inventing non-existent papers? It's gone. This is the breakthrough.
Okay, so it beats the other AIs. That's huge. But what about the ultimate test? How does OpenScholar compare to, well, us? The final test was a blind comparison, putting its answers head-to-head against answers written by human PhD experts. So, who would other specialists prefer?
The result here is just astonishing. So they gave a separate panel of experts 2 anonymous answers, one from a human, one from OpenScholar. And those experts preferred the AI's response 70% of the time. They said its answers had better coverage, they were better organized, better than the answers written by their own colleagues. This isn't just matching human ability in a blind test, it's actually surpassing it.
So what does all this mean? I mean, an AI that can outperform other models and even human experts. That's not just a clever new chatbot. This is a fundamental new tool for science, and it has some really profound implications for all of us.
A tool like OpenScholar can seriously accelerate discovery by helping researchers connect the dots way faster than ever before. And because it's fully open source, this part is so important. It helps democratize science. It's available to anyone, not just locked away inside big tech companies. And maybe most importantly, it starts to restore our trust, proving that AI can be a verifiable, reliable partner in our search for knowledge.
And look, this isn't some far-off research project you might see in a decade. This is a real tool that you can go and use right now. Since its public demo launched, over 30,000 users have already started using it, asking it nearly 90,000 questions to help them navigate this ever-growing ocean of scientific data.
Which really just leaves us with this one final, fascinating question. For what feels like the first time, we actually have a tool that can reliably read, understand, and synthesize pretty much all of human scientific knowledge, seeing connections that no single human could ever hope to spot. So what's the first monumental breakthrough it's going to help us achieve?